Greetings, citizens. I spent the last 5 days going through the tutorials for the Su-27, partially because I wanted to learn the Su-27 and all the systems therein, but also because that's Lightning Dragon's favorite plane, and I wanted to make sure that we could fly the missions together. Because if you're flying an F-15, he's flying Su-27, we get put on opposite sides, and I'd rather fly with him than against him. Now, in a lot of the early training modules, it's just things like flying through the rings, navigation, autopilot, which I found to be a little bit drunk because I set the autopilot on and it would miss almost everything, so I'd have to disable it and do it manually. But then again, that might have been my approach vector, I don't know. Landing in the Su-27 is a bit tricky. You really do need to go ahead and pop that parachute and hit the brakes. It is a very, very, very fast plane, and it doesn't like to stop at all. Now, night landing, that was a nightmare.
You may have noticed a little bit of crosswind.
You see, with night landing, every time you come in, this is the advanced mode, there's no lights on the runway until you land on the runway, or crash on the runway more appropriately. I went on the web and I checked for this, and apparently this is actually a bug that's been going on since February. Now, hopefully by the time this video comes out, the update with the F-18 should be out by then, and hopefully this is resolved so I can go back and try this again with the ability to see where the hell I'm going. But I tried it, I think, over the course of 2 days, and I did it like maybe once, but it's definitely something that's it's going to need to be ironed out before I can really sink my teeth into it. Now, the bombing runs were really interesting. You had both unguided and guided. The unguided ones are pretty much what it sounds like. You just kind of put your reticule over there where it's going to land and try to hit the target.
Control your airspeed by reducing throttle and pressing B to deploy your air brakes. Nice job, you hit the target.
The guided ones, basically you put your reticule over where you want the bombs to be deployed, you hold down the trigger, and it puts a diamond in the field, and when you fly over, it will drop the bombs when appropriate, and lay them out either if you have like one big bomb, it'll drop that bomb there, or if you're doing something like cluster bombs, it'll spread them out.
As the canister doors open, you may need to start a shallow dive to get a valid bombing release solution if you're using CCIP. Nice work, you hit the target.
The operation for guided rockets is also very similar.
Pull up. Pull up.
And all of it's really enjoyable. The Su-27 is actually a very versatile aircraft. I had to abandon this mission for strafing with guns on ground targets. You had to fly through all the rings and, well...
Watch your altitude at the next gate. It's a low one.
Now, this whole training section, with the beyond visual range missile use, and also the close-up missile use, and just in general, the complexity that you find in missiles, is largely what I was using as a source for the thoughts on Star Citizen's missile use.
Nice job. That was pretty easy, huh?
In fact, it's this very reason that I actually bought the Harrier for DCS, because with VTOL coming out, I want to have a comparison to something that's simulated very, very much like you would in the real world. Yes, I understand that things coming up will be in the future, but it's nice to have a real-world comparison to see how it really operates, and that way I can give a better analysis of what CIG does. Now this part's really cool. The pilot I've been telling you about, Lex Talionis, is currently training on the Hawk, and it was in the game, so he went ahead and bought me one, which is really awesome. It's the first contributor on this channel. Thanks again, sir. That is absolutely amazing. And we flew around, must have been for 2.5 hours, just having fun. Just going out there and trying this plane. This was a non-combat version, very nimble, very quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave the video off here, show you the footage of our flight time together. Well, the closer we get together without any radar or anything on these planes. We mostly just went out and did our own things, tried wild things you normally don't do, or wouldn't risk in real life, and got wasted a lot. But you know what? It was a heck of a lot of fun. That's the thing about flight games. You know, you don't need to have combat to make them enjoyable. We didn't have any guns, we didn't have any missiles on these planes, and we just flew around doing whatever for hours on end. I can only hope that down the road Star Citizen, while I'm not looking for something as complex as this obviously, that will have a flight that's equally as enjoyable, so I can just enjoy logging in the Star Citizen and flying around. No purpose, no goal, just flying. Space or atmosphere. Alright guys, catch you in the next one. Enjoy the show.